What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Blue Jays Today. A few days ago, Adam posted a video ranking every Toronto Blue Jays player based on how excited we should be for them walking into 2026. You guys seemingly liked it quite a bit, so today we're going to be making another tier list, except now we're going to be giving these Toronto Blue Jays players an overall grade entering into the 2026 season. Think about it as kind of my confidence level of these guys. How confident am I that they're going to provide real value for a full 162? Just like in the last video, this is just for fun, and these opinions are fully my own. So if you agree or disagree with me, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear where you guys are at with all of this. So just like the last video, we're going to be running this with the current 26-man roster as you see right here. Let's take a look at the tiers. A+, locked and loaded. That's the number one tier. Gun to my head. They are going to perform. I'm going to bet on these players to provide real value for us over 162. Then you got the following tier right here. This is the A tier. High confidence in these individuals. I don't know if I'd bet my life on them doing it, but I do still feel really good that over the full season, these guys are going to be great for us. When it's all said and done, if the Toronto Blue Jays end up making the playoffs or making a run in the playoffs, it's likely going to be these guys up here that are going to be making the difference. Then you got the B tier. This is the moderate confidence level. These are individuals that I still feel good. I still like them. I like seeing them on the roster, and I think they're going to provide value. But you're starting to see a couple question marks creep in about their game. Maybe there's an argument to be made as to why they aren't going to do it this season. That's where we're at with the B tier. Then the C tier here, this is the risky tier. This is players that I'm skeptical of providing consistent value. They could surprise us. They could come out of nowhere. They could break out. But walking into the season, I'm just a little skeptical that they're going to be able to hold up for a full 162, doing it the whole time and just being an overall solid contributor. Then you got the D tier here. This is where they need to prove it. These are individuals who there's a lot of arguments as to why their game has a ton of inconsistencies. We have to see more from them because right now I'm not feeling super confident in them walking into the season. And then you got the F tier. Spoiler alert, there might only be one individual in this F tier. This is the likely won't make it tier. And I'm kind of thinking about this in terms of they're just not going to make it for the full 162. They will start with the team, and then they'll probably be off the team sooner rather than later. So with all of that out of the way, let's get into it. Starting things off with Trey Yesavage. Now, I do think that there could be some arguments as to why he might be in the high confidence tier. He was just so good for us in the playoffs. But for me, walking into the season, I have him in the B tier right here. That's my grade for him right now. I'm feeling moderately confident about Trey Yesavage. The reason that he's not higher for me, I know the talent is amazing, but at the end of the day, he is still just a 22-year-old kid, and I don't want to put too many crazy expectations on him. Anything could happen, right? Like we saw a small sample size for him where he was, yes, very good in some big key moments, but he also did give up his fair share of runs in certain moments as well. And at the end of the day, he is still a young prospect. So I'm feeling confident. I'm not feeling like high confidence levels, and therefore for me, Trey Yesavage, B tier. Argue with me about it in the comments down below. Then we got Addison Barger, and I do see a lot of similarities between him and Trey Yesavage, but for me, I'm feeling a little bit more confident with Addison Barger than Trey Yesavage, so I think I'm going to put him in the A tier, the high confidence tier. At the end of the day, Barger, once he got the regular playing time, he was a beast out there, man. I just feel like he's one of those guys where the more time you let him into the lineup, the more time he's on the field, the better he's going to get. And we saw that last year from him. He's been proving his doubters wrong for a long period of time. I think that this year it's going to be another step up for Addison Barger. I just don't really see a reality where Barger is going to be taking a step back. Maybe at worst, he does kind of on par what he did last year, and what he did last year was pretty awesome. He was providing value effectively the second that he came up till the end of the season. So for me, I'm feeling very confident in Addison Barger being a dude for the Toronto Blue Jays, providing value day in, day out over the full 162. I think the ceiling with this kid is really, really high. Then we have Jose Barrios, and I've been a little outspoken thinking that Jose Barrios is being underrated right now, and I do still feel that way. That being said, though, I think I'm actually going to put him into the risky tier, and the reason why, not because I don't necessarily believe in the talent of Jose Barrios, but right now we're still kind of unsure as to exactly what his role is going to be. If he gets into a situation where he's bouncing between being a starter and being a bullpen guy, that's where I'm not so confident that he's going to be able to thrive. I've never seen him do that before, right? I've never seen him do that before. And for the longest time over on Fangraphs, they actually had him projected in the bullpen. Very recently, they've moved him back up to the starting pitcher 5 role, but anything can happen, right? He might at some point end up in the bullpen. And if that happens, that's where I'm not so sure about Jose. I do think that if he's a starter for the full season, he's going to provide value. But it is a little risky. He just didn't have his best stuff last year. He really, really didn't. So for me right now, he's at the very high end, I guess, if you will, of the risky tier. I'm almost talking myself into putting him into the moderate confidence level because I do still feel confident that he is a good baseball player. But just with the uncertainty surrounding his role, I think that for me is why he's in the C tier. Shane Bieber, I am moderately confident in shape. I'll even put, I'll put him above Trey Savage. And I'm not going to, kind of rank these things, like that the entirety of the way. But I do think for right now, I'll put him above Trey Savage. Shane Bieber, now that he is, I guess, being or reintegrated himself into MLB, I like Shane Bieber a lot this year. We have to remember, right? Like, he was coming off of a major injury last year, and he still performed relatively well. He had that time to acclimatize himself to Toronto and just MLB as a whole again. And I think now with a full off season of health, plus the playoff run that we had last year, just plus everything, I think that he's going to be in for a big season. Not to mention, you also have the fact that he is now in a contract year. I can't put him into the high confidence level, I don't think, because again, we haven't really seen him be that guy in a long period of time. But this for me is like the highest level of the moderate confidence. I am very confident in Shane Bieber. Maybe not as confident as I am with Addison Barger, but I do think that he's going to provide a lot of value. Dylan Cease. Exactly the same spot. He's going to go right between the two of them. At the end of the day, Dylan Cease is a really good baseball player who had a bad year last year, right? When we look over at the numbers, I believe it was a 4.55 ERA for Dylan. That's exactly what it was, 4.55 ERA. Keep in mind, he still ended up getting 3.4 WAR, so even with a pretty rocky overall earned run average, like, the guy still did provide value. So I like Dylan Cease. It's just like this one number is, I guess, the big argument as to why you might not be high in terms of the confidence level with him. So I'm trying to kind of, I guess, base my ranking on that. If there's a strong argument as to why they wouldn't do it, then that's why they're going into the moderate confidence level. And I do think that there is an argument with Dylan Cease. He's coming over to a new city. He didn't have his best stuff last year. That being said, though, he is still a really good baseball player. I'm excited to have him on the roster, and I do feel moderately confident that he is going to do better than he did last year, maybe even significantly so, right? If anyone was to win Cy Young on this team, probably the best bet would be Dylan Cease. So moderately confident right now. Maybe even he's right there with Shane Bieber with me. Like, I do feel really good about these guys. They're kind of on the fringe between high confidence and moderate confidence. I guess I'm being a bit more conservative right now, but both of them feeling pretty good. Ernie Clement, toss him into the high confidence level. Man, I love Ernie Clement. What he did last year, he was just such a sound baseball player for the Toronto Blue Jays. And I think defensively alone, that is enough value, right? Like, you're going to get value from Ernie Clement just being an amazing defender. The fact that he didn't win a Gold Glove last year is actually baffling to me. He was just so damn good. And then you tack on what he did in the playoffs and has the most hits ever in postseason history. Like, finishing the season on that offensive high note, plus the defense, plus the fact, like, even though he wasn't the greatest, I guess, just hitter for the 162, like, he still did do very well. His OPS wasn't great, but he had a relatively high batting average. He never strikes out. Ernie Clement, I am very confident he is going to be in for just another overall solid season. I don't think he's going to get MVP votes or anything like that, and I mean, if he wanted to bat 300, that'd be great. I don't really see that in the cards for him, but I see Ernie Clement providing value for this team day in, day out, series in, series out. I'm very confident in him. Kevin Gausman, same thing. I mean, I don't even really know what we need to say about Kevin Gausman. He does it every single year. I made a short relatively recently talking about how this guy right here might actually be one of the greatest free agent signings in the history of Toronto Blue Jays sport, and and I stand by it, man. Ever since coming over here, he has been phenomenal. I expect that again, even though he's getting older. We've been making that argument for years now. The fall off hasn't happened. Kevin Gausman, high confidence. Andres Gimenez is a weird one, folks, because on one side of the coin, you got the offense. On the other side of the coin, you have the defense. Offensively, probably the worst bat on the team. Defensively, I mean, could be the best defender on the team. We got a lot of good defenders, but still, very, very good defender. I think for me, that just immediately puts him into the moderate confidence level. I'm realistically, he's locked and loaded. If this was just a fielding tier list, he's up here. And then if this was just a hitting standpoint, he's probably, somewhere around here. I think that's what's going to happen, and it kind of averages itself out in that B tier right there. We know who he is as a player. Really good defender, not the best hitter. I'm moderately confident that he's going to be that guy for 162. Next is Vladdy, and we do not need to talk about this one too much. Just boop, there he is, locked and loaded. Gun to my head, who's going to provide the most value on this team? Probably Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Year in, year out, he's the guy. Now there's no Bo Bichette. I feel like he's really going to want to just cement himself as being the man. He already has kind of done that, but still, Vladdy is our dude. If he goes, the team goes. And I do think that he is going to go again this season. He's had back-to-back seasons right now of just really good, strong play, and I don't really see that falling off at any time. So Vladimir Guerrero Jr., locked and loaded. This should be a no-brainer. Tyler Heineman for me. He's going to have to go into the risky tier. I think it's, at the end of the day, Heineman is a good baseball player. He showed us really good stretches last year, but can I bet on that? Again, can I bet our backup catcher to have a 900 OPS for the majority of the season? That felt unreal. That felt surreal, right? That felt ridiculous. I don't think we're going to get that again. I think he's going to come back to earth a little bit, but he did also prove last season that at certain times he could be really good. So Tyler Heineman for me in the risky tier right there behind. He is firmly behind Jose Barrios in my opinion, but I like him. I don't necessarily love him. Jeff Hoffman. Now, this is a weird one. He was so good with the Philadelphia Phillies. He was just so damn good. And then last year, we don't even need to get into last year. He is somewhere between risky and he needs to prove it. Because at the end of the day, he does need to prove it. He needs to prove to us that he wasn't that guy from last year. He wasn't the worst player of all time, wasn't the worst closer of all time, but Fangraphs gave him a negative WAR, a negative .4 WAR for 2025 with his 4.37 ERA. That's just not, it's not good, man. For a team with World Series aspirations, this can't be the production that you're getting from your closer. You just cannot have it. I'm so torn because it feels like he should be up here, but at the same point, just by the nature of the titling this, he needs to prove it. He is also very risky though. So you guys let me know in the comments down below. I'm going to leave him here for right now, but Jeff Hoffman, I would have liked it if they went out and they got another closer at free agency. I was really hoping that we would do that. We didn't. We're walking in with him. I'm going to put him here for right now. Maybe I'll adjust as the video goes on, but yeah, he does need to prove it. Alejandro Captain Kirk. This is my favorite player on the team, man, and my bias is telling me toss him right there next to Vladdy. I think realistically, I'm going to put him in the high confidence level. Even I can admit he has had some rough seasons in the past, offensively speaking. Defensively speaking, he's incredible, right? Defensively speaking, you might make an argument that he is the best defender on the team. In fact, I think that, just the defensive numbers actually say that is the case. So you know that you're going to get the value from him right there. It's whether or not we're going to see the bat from last year or the year prior to that, because the year prior to that, he just wasn't very good offensively speaking. Last year, from a catching standpoint, he incredible, and then also from an offensive standpoint, really, really good. So I'm going to put him in the very high confidence level. I think that Kirk is going to be awesome. I don't really see him being the 600 OPS guy that he was a few years ago. I think he is more in line with what he did last year, especially with David Popkins, than any of those years prior. So for me, very high confidence. Justice for my boy Eric Lauer. He needs more playing time. I'm throwing him in the moderate confidence level. I think that Eric Lauer is a really good baseball player. I know that we're going off of just last season because prior to that he wasn't even in MLB, but last season was pretty good, guys. The guy had, I believe it was a 3.18 ERA that he had, and that was him coming back to MLB and then bouncing between bullpen and starter, and now I'm a long reliever, now I'm starting the game but I'm out, or like there was just so many role changes for him, and he navigated all of them beautifully. I want to see more Eric Lauer this year. I am moderately confident that he is going to do that again. However, of course, he had some really poor years prior to that last season, not when he was in MLB, and then also when he was overseas. So that's why he's in the moderate confidence level for me. I like Eric Lauer a lot, but I don't think I can justify putting him higher, and I also don't think I can justify putting him lower. Brendan Little is a weird one, man, because you look at some of those season-long numbers, and they actually were relatively good, right? The guy had a 3.03 ERA to finish the year. It's that second half, and that second half, man, that was rough. The first half was amazing. Second half was brutal. I'm tossing him in the needs to prove it category right now, because I think it's the way that his second half happened. Everyone figured him out. The MLB realized if you don't swing, he'll put you on base. And then the innings would just snowball, and it all came crashing down. So he, for me, needs to prove in spring training and the early parts of the season that he can put that ball in the zone, and he will still end up getting soft contact, end up getting outs. That was honestly the big problem, right? It's like people realized he never puts it in the zone, so we're never going to swing. And in the first half of the season, they didn't know that yet about him, and then the scouting report came out. He also did get fatigued, so you can make that argument. But Brendan Little has a lot to prove for me. I think that you could again make an argument for me that he's in this risky tier, because he could have stretches where he's awesome. But based on the nature of needs to prove something, Brendan Little, yeah, he is that guy. Nathan Lucas. Let's toss him into the C tier. He's risky, right? He does have, I don't know if I want to say ceiling. Like, we might have seen the ceiling last year. Maybe I'm doing him a disservice, but he could be a good baseball player. However, am I about to bet on that again? I don't know. It's a little risky. He's also going to be losing some playing time this year, I think. So just based on the nature of his position right now and where he is on the depth chart, I'm thinking risky. Oh, Tommy Nance. I made one tier down here, and it was specifically with Tommy Nance in mind. Guys, he had a 1.99 ERA last year. Is that right? These are the 2026 projections. Let me go to the 2025. Yeah, 1.99 ERA last year, 31 innings. So, look, he was awesome for us. However, that is just never seen before in his career. You look at his career numbers, and it's like high 4 ERA. I think his career average it dropped down a bunch after last season, but like a 4.5 career ERA. He's bounced around quite a bit. I believe he's 34 years old, so I don't actually see Tommy Nance making it through the full 162 with the Toronto Blue Jays. I think at some point you're going to see him, get knocked off this team for somebody else. He doesn't have any options, so once they do that, that would just be like a full-out DFA. That's where I'm at with him. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that he proves me wrong, because what he did last year was just insane, but I'm personally not willing to bet on that again. Kazuma Okamoto, dude, if this was a who am I the most excited about, he's right up here, dude. Like, genuinely, I am so excited to watch this guy. In terms of confidence level, I am feeling moderately confident about Kazuma Okamoto. He was an incredible player over there in Japan, but we haven't seen him at MLB. It's really simple, really. We just haven't seen him do it at this level before. If after 1 month he is dominating MLB pitching, like, he's going to fly up my rankings, because you know that the ceiling is there with this guy. He was money for high 30 home runs over there in MPB just year in and year out. For now, though, walking into this season, moderately confident. Cody Ponce, man, I'm excited to watch Cody Ponce too, but I do think right now I'm going to put him into that risky tier. Same argument as Kazuma, but at the end of the day, like, Kazuma just did more overseas than Cody Ponce ever did. Well, actually, maybe I'm lying, right? He did just win MVP with the KBO, but he wasn't great in MLB when he was here. So for me, Cody Ponce, excited about him. Similarly to Kazuma, if I see him dominate after a month in MLB, he's going to fly up my rankings. But for right now, confidence level in the C tier, kind of risky. Tyler Rogers. Now, this is an interesting one, and I might get some slack for this in the comments down below, but I'm going to put him all the way up here, guys. I'm going to put Tyler Rogers all the way into the locked and loaded category right there next to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I love this signing so damn much, dude. Looking over what Tyler Rogers has done, like this is the thing, the most games, right? The most innings consistently all the time, right? For the last, 5 years in a row, he's just been incredible. And look at all of those innings, right? Last year, 77.1 innings, 70 innings the year before that, 74 innings, 75 innings, 81 innings for Tyler Rogers. He eats up innings, everybody. You're going to see him in effectively every other game. I'm just so confident that this guy is going to provide value, especially with that arm angle coming out of nowhere. If there was a gun to my head and somebody said, who's going to provide value on this team? If somebody took Vladimir Guerrero Jr., I'm going with Tyler Rogers next. I just believe in him so wholeheartedly. Incredible signing. Extremely confident about him. Very excited to watch him. Anthony Santander. We forgot just how good this guy can be. However, walking into the season, I am going to put him into that risky tier. He's got to prove some stuff, right? He does have to prove some stuff. Last year was really bad for Anthony Santander. Not all his fault. Injuries derailed a lot of it, but it was not good, man. So for me, walking into the season, he's in the risky category. Again, similar to Kazuma, similar to Cody Ponce, if after a month we see him fully healthy and doing what it is that he's done in the past, going to rocket up my rankings. But for right now, definitely risky. Davis Schneider, I also think should be into that risky tier. Davis Schneider has shown us that he can be an MLB player. He had that one season where he came up and it was like the 1 month of just Davis Schneider's incredible, and then he really fell off a cliff and everyone's like, oh, he's a flash in the pan. Actually, he doesn't belong in MLB. But then since then, he's really battled through that adversity and he's shown, hey, actually, I'm not just a one-hit wonder. I can do this. It's tough to evaluate Davis Schneider when he doesn't get the everyday playing time. You'll see stretches of Davis Schneider where he's amazing and he should be in the lineup every day. And then you'll also see stretches where it's clear that there's a hole in that swing. So for me, he's risky walking into the season. It's also difficult because we don't really know what his role is going to be. But right now, in the C tier, feeling a little risky. George Springer, Unc. I am feeling very confident in Unc. I'm not willing to put him into the locked and loaded category because, again, you got to factor in 2023 and 2024. But, hey, man, 2025 was pretty damn good. I think he's going to take a little bit of a step back, but maybe not as much of a dramatic step back as some people are saying online. I still see George Springer having a really strong season. You don't go from doing what you did last year and then completely falling off a cliff unless, of course, injuries get in the way, which is the one thing we can't really project here. So for me, highly confident in George Springer. Miles Straw. I think for me, Miles Straw is in the risky tier. If we're being completely honest with ourselves, he's kind of like the Andres Jimenez of the outfield, but a little bit worse than that. That sounds harsh, but that's kind of the case, right? Like, he's a good defender. He really can't do a whole lot when it comes to the bat. And I think even a little bit less when it comes to the bat with Andres Jimenez, right? Andres Jimenez can provide some value in that regard. Like, he can definitely be a threat on the base pass. And, Miles Straw, I just don't really see a whole lot from him. I also don't know how much playing time he's going to get. I think you're going to see Miles Straw being more of a defensive replacement later in games. Like, a lot of the game, you're going to see a ton of games next to Miles Straw, but not a lot of games started, I think, unless, of course, we end up with injuries. So for me, in the C tier, feeling kind of risky. Louis Varland, baby. I am feeling very confident in Louis Varland. And some of you might be thinking to yourselves, Nick, what the hell are you talking about? He came over to Toronto and he wasn't very good. And that's true, right? When you look over at the numbers, when he came to Toronto, I believe his overall ERA numbers with Toronto was around 5 ERA. But my whole thing with that is that he didn't expect to come over to Toronto. Really young kid, under contract for a long period of time. I don't think he even had it in his brain that he was getting traded. So when it did actually happen, it was this massive shock. He's got to uproot himself, uproot his family. He didn't expect it. And then immediately he's getting thrown into these baseball games in a new uniform in a new city. Didn't expect it. After that first month or two, though, he really settled into himself, calmed down, found his form again, and I think that that's the Louis Varland that you're going to see in 2026. I'm really confident that him and Tyler Rogers are going to feast in this bullpen. Dalton Varsho is such a weird one. I'm kind of in between high confidence and moderate confidence. I think I'm going to put him in the high confidence level. And the reason why is because if I put Andres Gimenez into the moderate confidence level, and we can kind of agree where it's like, okay, well, defensively speaking, Dalton Varsho, Andres Gimenez, I know they don't play the same position, but kind of the same, right? Like just dominant in their respective field. This guy for the infield, this guy for the outfield. So if they're on par there, I look at Dalton Varsho and I see the upside of his bat a little more than I see the upside and the bat of Andres Gimenez. At the end of the day, Dalton Varsho did have some stretches last year where he was really good, man. He was on pace for, I think he was like close to high 30 or 40 home runs. Not saying that he's necessarily going to do that again, but in a contract season, I am feeling highly confident that Dalton Varsho is going to be that guy. And finally, we got Jimmy Garcia. I'll be honest, guys, I'm really not feeling that confident in Jimmy. I know that the upside is there. I'm kind of in between the needs to prove it and the risky category. I think I'm going to put him right at the top of needs to prove it right here. We know that he can be a really good, strong baseball player for Toronto, but we haven't seen him in a really long time. And at the end of the day, he's not getting any younger either. It's just coming off of a big injury like that at his age. We haven't seen him in a bit. He's also had his ups and downs. There's been stretches where he's been incredible. There's been stretches where it looks like he doesn't have it. So for me, that's where I'm going to put him right now. But here you have it, folks. This is the overall grading list. 2 people in the A+ category. A lot of people I'm feeling very confident in. A lot of moderate confidence level. Then you got a handful of people in the risky category. A couple people that need to prove it. And then also somebody that likely won't make it. I hope I'm wrong, because it feels like I'm singling out. I almost want to put him up here because it's just like I feel like I'm singling him out right here. But I'll leave it there for now. But folks, let me know your thoughts. Put all this in the comments down below. Do you agree, disagree with my grading of the Toronto Blue Jays for the 2026 season? How confident I am in them? If you agree or disagree, let me know in the comments down below. $4 to become a YouTube member. Shouldn't think of all of our current YouTube members. You guys are amazing. Thanks so much for watching. And as always, go Jays, go.